natural, eco-friendly, all natural,
eco-friendly, all-natural,
and sustainable.
and sustainable.
You might see expressions
You might see a fresh
like these
like these
on products
partners
you buy at the store.
to buy at the store.
But what exactly do they
But what that leads to this
mean?
means
People are becoming
people are becoming
more and more concerned about
more and more conscious
the
the environment
and are always seeking
and are always seeking
small ways to lead lives that are
small way to live life more than
environmentally friendly.
even to is friendly.
This is something that companies are
It is something that companies are
aware of,
aware of,
but they don't necessarily
but they don't necessarily
want to make big
want to make big
changes to their
and touch it as chest
structure or products
or products
in order to give consumers what they're looking for.
and what is the case in steamer.
That's where greenwashing comes in.
That's where cream machine comes out.
Greenwashing is when the company labels
Strange companies, people
or packages of product
or packages of product
in a way that makes it
in the ways as this
seem like the company
seem like company
is doing more for the
more opposite in time
environment than they
say they are
actually are.
actually they are.
Perhaps a label
Perhaps below
might say all natural,
natural,
but this doesn't
but this doesn't
officially
officially
have a meaning for
have a meaning
product sold
of products sold
in the US,
in the US,
for example.
for example.
This is similar for
This is similar
products labeled
process labels are
as eco-friendly
eco-friendly
as well.
as well.
When we're at the store,
When we ask the store,
or it's easy to look
it's easy to look
at a product,
at products,
feel relieved or confident
feel relieved to be confident
that it seems eco-friendly,
that is them eco-friendly,
then simply
then simply
buy the greenwashed product.
friendly products.
But in reality,
But instead have
the company might
company might
only have
only have me
made a small change
the small change
or nearly no change
or really low change
at all to
at all.
their product or
The products or
business practices.
this is product.
They might have simply changed
They have measured change.
the words and design on the product.
She's a word on design in the product.
It's labeled.
Let's go.
So how do you make
So how do you make
sure you're
you're
actually buying
actually buy
stable product?
stable product?
Well, you have to
Well, you have to
do your research.
do your research.
You can often look
You can often look
up specific
at specific
companies and products online
company and products online
to see what reviews
to see what appreciate,
they have regarding
to has a status risky,
sustainability. You can also look
begins all the love,
for specific labels,
for a specific label,
such as Green Seal,
ratio,
Fair Trade,
factor,
and the B
and the B course
Corporation certification.
certification.
These labels
The flexible
ensure that a product
is sure that the product
has been checked to
has been just
meet certain standards.
to in standard.
Certain labels
Just labels
show things
shows things
like companies
like company
reducing their carbon emissions
reducing the company's needs
or the amount of
at the past pennies environmental
toxins that
toxins
are in their product.
that are in the product.
But of course,
But of course,
there are many
nuclear
labels out there.
or out there.
If you don't recognize
If you don't recognize
a certain label,
a certain label,
or you don't know what it means,
or you don't know what it be,
it's good to verify
it's good to verify
or check
or
on your
check
own
what the
label means.
what the label mean.
Another aspect of
Another was for
greenwashing to
rewashing
avoid
void
is when companies create their own labels
is their company's erase label
or certification
or certain constitutions that
which don't really
was not really mean much
environmentally,
and entirely
but still convince
as enthusiasm based
consumers to feel good about buying their
to feel good
products. In other words,
and otherwise.
some labels don't have much
Some people still have
significance in terms of
focus in all concern
their effect on
your face on
the environment.
the environment.
Now, these are just a few ways in
A weird wise of
which
which companies
greenwash their
greenwash product.
products. Have you heard of
I will was now with
greenwashing before?
watching before.
Have you noticed it with some products
Have you noticed they with donate
and companies
in company
in your own daily life?
or you just still life
Eco-friendly,
eco-friendly,
all natural,
all natural,
and sustainable.
as same sample.
You might see
You may see
expressions like
special drug these
these on products you buy
on products to buy
at the store.
at the store.
But what exactly
But what exactly
do they mean?
is that it?
People are becoming
People are becoming
more and more
more it become more
concerned
sure
about the environment
to our
and are
environment.
always seeking small ways to lead lives that are
Release life more
more
environment
friendly.
and friendly.
This is something that
It is something that company
are aware of.
are aware of.
They don't necessarily want to
They don't exactly want
make big changes to their
mischief everywhere. Structure
or products
are products
in order to give
are indoor education
consumers
consumer
what they're looking for.
what they are looking for.
That's where greenwashing
That's their greenwashing
comes in.
comes in.
Greenwashing is when a company
Greenwashing is
labels
one
or packages a product
is products
in a way that
in they want
makes it seem
missing
like the company is
like the company is
doing more for the environment
like in more of them inspire
than they actually are.
than they actually are.
Perhaps a
The actual
label might say
label may say
all natural,
are national,
but this doesn't officially
but this doesn't
have a meaning for a product sold.
or has something so.
US,
Out of interest.
for example.
For example,
This is similar
this is simpler
for products
plus famous,
labeled as eco-friendly
eco-friendly
as well. When we're at the store, it's easy
It's easy
to look at a
it's last to buy
product, feel relieved or confident that it
till it
seems eco-friendly.
eco-friendly
Then simply buy
and simply buy
the greenwashed
to greenwash
product.
products.
But in reality,
But in reality,
the company might
the company by
only have made
the company's mind
a small
a small
change
edge
or nearly no
or merely no
change at
change that's all
all to their product
to their products
or business practices.
as it prospect.
They might have simply
Then they may have fringes,
changed the words and design
the words and design
on the product's label.
on the product's list.
So, how do you make sure you're actually buying sustainable products?
So how do you make sure actually buy the product?
Well, you have to do
Well, you have to do
your research.
research.
You can often look up specific companies and
To end products
products online
online.
to see what reviews
The wizards want to.
they have regarding sustainability.
They have recording sustainability.
You can also look for
You can also look for
specific
specific lists
labels
for
such as
Green Seal,
Fair Trade,
Fair Cheese,
and the B Corporation
and the beer separation
certification.
certification.
These labels assure that a
These labels assure that a
product has been
button station
checked to meet certain standards.
Shark to me means dinner.
Certain labels
Should be labeled just
show things
those things
like companies
like company
reducing their
to do things there
carbon emissions or the amount of environmental
or their past and the animal
toxins that are in
person
their product.
divided faster.
But of course, there are many labels out there. If you don't recognize a certain label,
If certain life is like a
or you
people
don't know
or you don't know,
what it means, it's good to verify or
it's
check
good to verify
on your own what the label means. Another aspect
another aspect
of greenwashing
of greenwash
to avoid
seem to avoid
is when companies
is one company
create their own labels
creates their own label
or certifications,
called
which don't
statement,
really mean much
which does really mean that
environmentally,
in
but still
parliamentary
convince consumers
with still statements can still
to feel good about buying their products.
to feel good about your product.
In
In
other words,
other words,
some labels
some labels don't
don't have much significance
have much significance
in terms of
in terms of
their effect on the environment.
their effects on environment.
Now, these are just a
Now this has us done
few ways in which
few ways
companies greenwash
and makes companies more
their products.
products.
Have you heard of
Have you heard of
greenwashing before?
washing before?
Have you noticed it
Have you noticed it?
with some products
Which it help us
in companies in your
company in your
own daily
own day life?
eco-friendly,
Eco-friendly,
all natural,
all natural,
and sustainable.
and sustainable.
You might see
You might see
expressions like these
expressions like these
on products you buy at
on
the
products
store.
you price
But
mineral.
what exactly
But what exactly
do they mean?
these do they make?
People are becoming
People are becoming
more and more concerned
more and more concerned
about the environment
about the environment
and are always
and are always
seeking small
smooth or right
ways to lead lives
to realize
that are more
to the more
environment
environment
friendly.
to be friendly.
This is something
This is something
that companies
that company
are
aware
of, but they don't
don't
necessarily want to
necessarily
make big changes
big changes
to their
to gestures
structure or products
or products
in order to give
or industries
consumers
too much
what they're looking for.
or what they are looking for.
That's where
That's where greenwashing
greenwashing comes in.
comes in.
Greenwashing
Greenwashing
is when a company
is when the company
labels or
able
packages a product
or packaging it for
in a way that makes
in ways that make
it seem like the company
seem like the
is
company
doing more for the
doing more friendly
environment than they actually are.
than they actually are.
Perhaps a label
Perhaps a label
might say
might say
all natural,
or national,
but this doesn't
but this doesn't just
officially have a meaning
usually happen
for a product sold
mean for a person for
in the US,
in the US.
for example.
For example,
This is similar
this is simpler
for products
products labeled
as eco-friendly
but have eco-friendly
as well.
as well.
When we're at the store, it's easy to look at a product,
When it's at the store, it's easy to look,
feel relieved,
to feel relieved
or confident
and confident
that it seems eco-friendly.
that it seems eco-friendly.
Then simply buy the
Then simply buy the free
greenwashed
washed
product.
product.
But in reality, the company might
the company might only have made
small change
small change
or nearly no change at all
or nearly no change at all.
product
Or products or
business practices.
business practice.
They might have simply changed
Then has simply changed
the words and design on
to the word and the style or
the product's label.
product label.
So how do you make sure you're
So how do you make sure you are
actually buying
stable product?
Well, you have to
Well, you have to
do your research.
You
You can often look up specific
can also look us in the Pacific.
companies and products
Its company and product online
to see what reviews
to see what's review
they have
they have
regarding
regarding
sustainability.
ability.
You can also look for specific labels such
You can also look specific label can change
as Green Seal,
green seal,
Fair Trade,
fair trade,
and the B Corporation
and the big corporations
certification.
certification.
These labels
These labels
assure that a product has been checked
are a process that's been checked
to meet certain
to make certain
standards.
and certain labels
Show things
show them
like
companies
reducing their carbon emissions
reducing their companies
or the amount of environmental
or the most like entitlement
toxins that
or
are
toxin letters
in their products.
in the product.
But of course,
But of course,
there are many labels out there.
there are many labels out there.
If you don't recognize
If you don't recognize
a certain label, or you don't know what it means,
or you don't know what it means,
it's good to verify.
it's good to verify
Or check
or
on
check
your own what the
on your
label
own
means.
what your label means. Another aspect
of greenwashing to avoid
of
is when
greenwashing
companies
to
create
avoid
their own
is companies that are all
labels
a label or
or certification.
certification.
Which don't really mean
much
environmentally,
environment,
but still convince
convince consumers
to feel good about buying their
to feel good about buying products. In other words,
some labels don't have much significance in terms of their effect on the environment. Now, these are just a few ways in which companies greenwash their products. Have you heard about greenwashing before? Have you noticed it with some products and
Have you
companies
noticed
in
this
your
from
own
products
daily life?
and realize
Eco-friendly,
eco-friendly, or national
and
and sustainable.
You might see expressions like these on
You might be problem and anti problem,
products you buy at the store.
but you buy at the
What
store.
exactly do they mean?
But what exactly do they need? People
Are becoming
more
and more concerned
more concerned
about the environment.
about the
And
environment,
are always seeking small ways
as they are often the whole ways
to lead lives
to live life
that are more environmentally
that are more environmentally friendly.
This is something that companies are
This is something that companies are
aware of,
of,
but they don't necessarily want to make big changes
make big changes
to their structure
to their
or
structure
products
or
in
product,
order to give consumers what they're looking for.
what they are looking
That's
for.
where greenwashing comes
That's
in.
their greenwashing.
Greenwashing is when a company labels
Greenwashing is companies remove
or packages a product
or
in a way
packages
that
and
makes
products.
it seem like the company is doing more for the environment than they actually are. Perhaps a
Later
label might say all natural,
or might say all national,
but this doesn't officially
but this doesn't persist
actually have a meaning
for products
sold in
sold
the US.
in the US,
For example,
for example.
This is
similar for
products
labeled as
eco-friendly
eco-friendly
as well.
as well.
When we're at the store, it's easy to look at a product, feel relieved or
confident
that it seems eco-friendly,
that it seems eco-friendly.
then simply buy the greenwashed
Then simply buy a free one
product.
to pastors.
But in
In reality,
the company might only have made
the companies might have made
a small change
a small change
or nearly no change
or really no change at all
to their product
to their product
or business practices.
or business
They
practices.
might have simply changed the words
They might have simply changed the word and
design on the product's label.
design on the corners.
So how do you make sure you're actually buying sustainable
products?
Well, you have to do
How you have to do
your research.
your research.
You can often look up specific companies
You can also pick a
and
company
products online.
and products online
To see what reviews
to see how review and
they
they have regarding
sustainability.
system and build.
You can also look for specific labels
such as
Green Seal,
Green
Fair
Seal,
Trade,
Energies,
and the B Corporation
and Compare
certification.
Corporation, and
These labels
these labels
assure that a product has been
had a
checked
process and tester
to meet certain
to be certain stands.
standards. Certain labels show things
certainly
companies
percent
reducing their
companies
carbon
and
emissions or the amount of environmental toxins
or the
that are
most
in their
environment
products.
person.
But of course, there are many labels out there.
But there are many place people out there.
If you don't recognize a
If
certain
you don't
label,
recognize
or you don't know what it means,
or
it's
you
good to
don't know what
verify
it means,
or
it
check
would just
on
one side and check
your
your
own
own
what the label
what the label
means.
means.
Another aspect of greenwashing to avoid
But another
is
was
when
just
companies
destroyed
create
in
their
point
own labels or certifications,
or
which don't
certification,
really mean much environmentally, but still convince consumers
but still interest consumers
to feel good about
to feel good about
buying their products.
buying products.
In other words,
In
some
other words,
labels don't have much significance in terms
some
of
labels
their
don't have
effect
some
on the
business on have
environment.
environment.
Now, these are just a
Now zero this
few ways in which
this ways
companies greenwash their products.
somewhat products.
Have you heard about
Have you heard about
greenwashing before?
greenwashing before?
Have you noticed it with some products and companies in your own
In your own
daily life?
do you like
Eco-friendly,
eco-friendly
all
or
natural,
natural
and sustainable.
and sustainable?
You might see expressions like these on products
You
buy
might be
at
expressed on your
the
not
store,
by store.
but what exactly do they mean? People are becoming
You because it's reason
more and more concerned
more important to us
about the environment
about the environment,
and are always seeking small ways
and they're always using a small ways
to lead lives that
to
are
live
more
life tomorrow.
environmentally friendly.
Environment to it
This is
friendly.
something that companies are
This is something that companies are
aware of,
aware
but
of,
they don't necessarily want to
but they're not necessarily for
make big changes to their
big
structure
changes to the structure
or products
or
in order
products.
to give consumers
You as the guest consumes
what they're looking for.
what they're looking
That's
for.
where greenwashing comes
That's
in.
where greenwashing.
Greenwashing is when
Greenwashing is where
a company labels or
like companies label and
packages a product
repassing for its products
in a way that makes it seem like
in
the
ways that
company is
makes it
doing
seem as
more for
companies
the environment
more for things environments
than they actually are.
than they actually are.
Perhaps a label might say all natural,
Perhaps
but
labels
this
I
doesn't
think.
officially
The misspellings the dictionary has
have a meaning for a product sold
have a
in the
meaning for
US, for
also
example.
breast
This
example.
is similar for products labeled
This
as
example is for products
eco-friendly as well.
eco-friendly as well.
When we're at the store,
While we're
it's
at the store,
easy to look at a product,
it's
feel
easy to look at products to feel
relieved or confident that
it
it
with
seems
confidence
eco-friendly,
than
then simply
eco-friendly
buy the greenwashed product.
products.
But in reality,
But in reality,
the company might only have made
the
a
company
small
only
change
has made small
or
change
nearly no change at all
or merely new change that more
or
to
business
their products.
They might have simply changed the words
So
and
them
design
have simply changed our world and hive
on the products.
on the products.
Label.
The label.
So how do you make sure you're actually buying
So
sustainable
how do you
products?
list more the only buy?
Well, you have to do your research.
So you have to do their research.
You can often look up
specific companies and products online
to see what
reviews they have to got in sustainability.
You can also look for specific labels.
You can also look for specific labels such as Free Seal, Fair Trade, and the B Corporation certification. These labels
assure that a product
has doses been checked
to meet certain standards.
to be shot in its standards.
Certain labels
show
things
them
like companies
reducing
their carbon emissions
to same as
or the
combinations or keys
amount of
mounted
toxins
in
that
parliaments
are
to shutters in products.
But of course, there are many labels out
But there are many labels out there.
If you don't recognize
If you don't recognize or label,
you don't know what it means,
or you don't know what it means,
good to verify or
good
check
to clarify
on
and
your
check
own what the label
on your robot what's the label to mean.
Another aspect of greenwashing
Another aspect you want need to avoid
is when companies create their own labels
is once companies on label
or certifications
or certification
which don't really mean much
environmentally,
but still
convince consumers
to feel good about buying
your products. In other words,
some labels don't have much significance in terms
some labels don't have some or environment.
Now, these are just a few ways companies greenwash their products.
Our companies wash in products.
Have you heard about greenwashing before?
Have you heard about machine before?
Have you noticed it with
some
products and companies in your own?
Some products and companies your own? Do you like? Eco-friendly, all natural, and sustainable.
You might see expressions like
in life
these on products
to be in products you buy store.
But what exactly do they mean?
But what exactly do they need? People are becoming
more and more
concerned about environment
and are always seeking small ways to lead lives that are
more environment instead.
This is something that companies are
aware of,
but they don't necessarily want to make big changes to their structure
or products
to give consumers
in
what
towards by shooting Spencer before.
That's where greenwashing Greenwashing is when a company labels or packages
Greenwashing is a company's label or product
in a way that makes it seem like the company is doing
in ways that let it seem or more
for the environment
with the environment
than they actually are.
than they actually ignore.
Perhaps a label might
Perhaps a label might say all national.
But this doesn't officially have a
meaning for product sold or in the US. For example, it is similar for products you can it's friendly as well.
When we're at the store,
when they're in store, it's easy to look for products to cross competitiveness
that it seems eco-friendly.
That it seems eco-friendly.
Then simply buy the greenwash.
Then simply buy the greenwash product.
But in
reality,
the
company might only have
made
a small change, or really no change at all
to their product or business practices.
To product or business tasks.
They might have simply changed
the
words and design on the products.
The word and design on the product. On the label.
So how do you make sure you're actually buying sustainable products?
So how do you make sure and easily buy your product?
Well, you have to do your research.
You can
often look up specific.
You can often look at your machine. Company and products online.
To see what reviews they have.
To see what reviews they have.
Regarding
sustainability.
You can also look for specific labels.
You can also look in labels
such as
Green Seal,
Fair Trade,
and the B Corporation certification. These labels
assure that a product has been checked to meet certain standards. Certain labels show things like companies reducing their carbon emissions or the amount of environmental toxins
that are in their products. But of course,
there are many labels
out there.
If you don't recognize
this
or
or
you don't know what it means,
or you don't know what
it
it means, it's good to challenge or check on your own
what the label means.
With the label B.
Another aspect of
greenwashing to avoid
is when companies create their own labels
in their company's razors therapy or certification
which don't
really mean
much
environmentally,
but still convince consumers
to feel good about buying their products. In other words,
some labels don't have much significance.
Some labels don't have much significance and they're stuck on the environment.
Now, these are just a few ways
in which companies wash products.
Have you heard of greenwashing before? Have you noticed it with some products in companies in your own daily life?
And all do you like?
Eco-friendly,
one natural, and it's valuable.
You might see expressions like
we write these claims like
product
this on cards.
You buy at the store.
What
exactly do they
But what exactly do we
mean?
It's me.
People are becoming more
It's because becoming more
and more concerned about
of the environment,
and are always seeking small ways
and there are always seeking small ways
to lead
lives
that are more
that are in more
environmentally
friendly.
This is something that
This is something what
companies are aware
of,
but they don't necessarily
but that does that
really want to make
but that don't want to make
changes to their structure
changes to their stock
or
Sure.
products
or products
in order to give consumers
in
what
order
they're
to get
looking for.
number taken for.
That's where greenwashing
That's where we watch this.
comes in. Greenwashing is when a
Greenwashing is
company labels or
the news
packages a
label or countries that lost
product in a way that makes it seem like the
in ways that lets it seen in life.
company is doing
Companies with
more for the
in more efficient in mind
environment than they
actually are.
Perhaps a label
Perhaps the labels
might say
all
national,
national,
but this
doesn't
officially have a meaning
or specialists have a mean
for a product
for products
sold in
in the
US,
US.
for example.
For example,
This is similar for
this is fabulous from
products
as labeled
as
as eco-friendly
as well. When we're at the store, it's easy to look at a product, feel relieved
feel relieved or
confident that it seems
as things eco-friendly.
Then
simplify
the greenwashed
a pre-washed products.
But in reality,
the
company might
companies might only have made
a small change or nearly no change at
or really no change that are
all to their product
all to the products
or business
the more business
practices.
business.
They might have simply changed the words and design
on the size products.
So how do you make sure you're actually buying
simple products?
Well, you
have to do
research.
research.
You can often
You can also look up
specific companies
the biggest company
and
products
online
online
to see what reviews
to see what reviews
they have
regarding system and ability.
You can also look for
specific labels
such as
Green Seal,
Fair Trade,
Fair
and
the B Corporation
certification.
for certifications. These labels are
Sure that a
product
has been checked to meet certain
but
standards.
to the standard.
Certain labels show like companies
reducing their
carbon emissions
carbon machines
or the amount of
or the master environment
toxins
better toxins
that are in their
that are into
products. But of course, there are many labels
but of course there are many labels
out
there.
If you don't recognize a certain label,
if you don't recognize it's the label,
or you don't know what it
you don't know
means,
what it means,
it's good to
it's going to
verify
right
check on your own
on your
what the label
what the label means.
Another
Another
aspect of
as was very lost
greenwashing to avoid
what is in the world
is when companies create
it was companies twice
their own
what they all
labels or
label or certification
which don't really
but doesn't really mean much
environmentally,
environmentally,
but still convince
but it still needs consumers
to feel good about buying their
to buy about
products.
products.
In
In other words,
some
labels
don't have much
don't have much significance
in terms of
status
their effect on the
on
environment. Now, these are just a few
this is just in three ways in which companies greenwash their products.
Have you heard about
I heard about this
greenwashing before?
washing before.
Have you noticed it with some
Have you noticed that in some
products
in company
in your own daily life?
in your daily life?
Eco-friendly,
Eco-friendly,
all
natural,
and sustainable.
and sustainable.
You might see
You may speak is careful
expressions like these on
to sprays and all.
products you buy at the store. But what exactly
Well, what is that?
do they mean?
Little they mean.
People are becoming
To be us becoming
more and
more become
concerned
sure about environment
and are always seeking
and are always seeking
small ways to
weak
lives
like
that are
more environment
friendly.
in a friendly.
This is something
This is something
that companies
that companies
are aware
are aware
of,
of,
but they don't
but they don't
necessarily want
necessarily want
to make big
to make big changes to
their structure
their structure
or products
of products
in order to give consumers what they're looking
what they are looking for.
for. That's where
That's where greenwashing comes in.
greenwashing is
Greenwashing can
when a company labels or
companies label
packages a product
to first and process
in a way that
in ways that makes
seem like the company
that the companies
is doing more for
are being small nothing
the environment
based environment
than they actually
in their action
are.
if they are.
Perhaps a label
The high school label
might say all
might say
natural,
or actional.
but this doesn't
The last leaders
officially have a meaning for
the weapons labels
product
parts
sold in the US, for example.
for example.
This is similar
The example
for products
for example
labeled
as
eco-friendly
for example
as well. When we're at the
when there are things
store, it's easy to look
it's easy to look
at a product,
at products
feel relieved or confident
to relate to its cost, but it does seem eco-friendly.
then simply buy the
That simply buys greenwashed products.
But in reality,
But in reality,
the company might
the company might only have made
a small change
or a small change
or nearly no
or really news
change at all
Jesus Earth
to their product
to the Thomas
or business practices.
Pessimist.
They might have simply changed
The chambers have listed
the words and
in
design
work and design
on the products.
of the product.
So how do you make sure you're actually buying
Sure, you have to buy
sustainable product?
sustainable product.
Well, you have to
Well, you have to
do your research.
do your research.
You can often look up
You can also look up
specific
the companies and products
online
offline
to see what reviews
to see what reviews
they have
to have.
regarding sustainability. You can also look for
They can also look up
specific
specific schools
labels
such as
Green Seal,
Green Trail,
Fair Trade,
Fair Trade,
and the B Corporation
and the Peace Countries
certification.
for example. These labels assure
Ensure that a product has been
that the process test
checked to meet
and just means to be certain standards.
Certain labels show
Certain labels of
things
terms
like
companies
reducing their
doing their
carbon
companies
emissions
machines
or the amount of
only mounted
environmental
environment talk
toxins that are in their
that are installed.
products. But of course, there
But there are many labels out there.
if you don't recognize
If you don't recognize
a certain label
it's a label,
or you don't know what it
or you don't know what it
means,
means,
it's good to
it's good to
verify or check
a check
on your own
on your own
what the label
labels.
means. Another
Another
aspect of greenwashing
of question
to avoid
to question price
is when
is when companies
create their
create their own
own labels or certifications,
label for certification,
which don't really
which don't really mean
much
environmentally,
but still convince consumers
but still in a silver
to feel good about buying
to feel buys about products. In other words,
some labels don't have much significance in terms of their effect on
your fast on
the environment.
in the environment.
Now, these are just
There are approximately few ways
in which companies greenwash
to companies restore
products.
the product.
Have you heard about greenwashing
The balance and wash
before?
seen before.
Have you noticed it with some
Have you noticed it on some
products and companies
products can companies
in your own daily life?
your own lazy eyes?
Eco-friendly,
Eco-friendly,
all natural,
all natural,
and sustainable.
and sustainable.
You might see
expressions
like
says
these on products you buy
on products that you buy
at the store.
at the store,
But what exactly do they mean?
but it's backlit and it means
People are becoming more
People are becoming smart
and more concerned
about
the environment
about planet
and are always seeking
and they always exist
small ways
instead always
to lead lives
lives
that are more environmentally friendly.
to their more environment